So hey, what is up YouTube? If you're watching the video, Asian Adventures with Jim today, I have already landed in Southeast Asia already. So I'm already there. So you guys are gonna have to stay tuned, and it's not the Philippines. We all know why. So it's gonna be the last video I talk about on the Philippines. It's been a tough road. Marrying a Filipina with 4 kids. There was a lot of drama. There was a lot that was my fault. I could have done stuff different. But when it comes down to the, what I'm going to talk about in this video about now, the ring is gone, and I'll explain. And then she had just posted this video on, I don't know what she's talking about. Oh, it's been a year since the stepson, Paul, got injured. And, it's always blaming the foreigner, So anyways, for you new subscribers or new viewers, I'm gonna do a quick little catch up. So you guys, a lot of you guys probably already heard this. I was living in the Philippines. I had met Dexel, but I went over there for the 15-month move. Sari-sari store, laundromat, all that stuff. Print shop, it didn't go good. It was getting a little chaotic. We had problems with the neighbors, the relatives that we always paid. It was a guy that lived right next door to us, that married Dexel's father's sister. Nothing but problems. And my wife, I didn't want to say this, but since she's going to lie, flat out lie, the reason why this guy threw a cup over, he threw a cup over on our porch, a big coffee mug, Big coffee mug, smashed it, just missed Dexel, almost hit the little one. And but prior to that, my wife, I was drinking that day and she was drinking. No way, Dexel drinks. And when she does, she's like a firecracker. So she's just blah, 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 to that guy for hours. I'm inside just going, oh my God. And so when the cup got thrown over, she even went off more. I went out and said some stuff, but it was useless because he doesn't speak English. I think they went inside the house, turned the lights off, act like they were sleeping. But here's my point. Before I get onto these, why I made this video, the ring and what she's saying. And a lot of you guys are going through this. I'm in contact with a lot of you. This jealousy thing that goes way, way extreme. So I had asked her the next day, call the police. She wouldn't call the police. He had come over again with his buddy. They're drunk. Where's that foreigner? I get my shoes on. I was taking a nap. I go run out there. They run off, whatever. So I run into the guy. It was like 3 weeks later. And I confront him. I says, hey, what's your problem? You threw that cup over. You could have killed my wife, or you could have killed the little one. And we got in a little altercation where he kind of came at me. I just stiff-armed him, And then as soon as he hit the ground, he had ice. He threw ice, and I had to deflect it, or it would have hit me in the head. And then some words, and he went off that way, and I went back and told Dexel. Well, later that night, we had a confrontation, me and the stepson coming back from 7-Eleven, and a fight broke out. And stepson had to have surgery. So anyways, it's a 1-year anniversary, or I don't want to say anniversary, that Paul got injured. So she's saying that I left them. Prior to this incident, I dumped a lot of money. I was locked out of bank accounts. I had 2 blood clots that I left, taking Eliquis, going over to the Philippines. I had to go back, get those taken care of in ultrasound, and then log into the bank accounts. Well, now, so I could send more money because Paul was in the hospital. I was there a week. I couldn't even stay in the private room because they only allow 2 people. So Dexel and the little one were in there. And I had to go rent a hotel room, spending money, tons of money, there 15 months. So then I got to book a flight to Manila. So I spent 2 nights because I got to get an exit clearance. I never did it there. Dumaguete didn't have an immediate exit clearance. It was like 3 weeks. I went, the immigration said, no, we don't do that, JR Services, but it's 3 weeks. I go, I don't got 3 weeks. I got to get home. I got to activate the bank accounts. And the little code, I couldn't get it to send. But anyways, so the rings, I found out now that she pawns the rings. Wedding ring. I'm like, both of them. I'm like, You talk about how you don't need money, you never ask for money, but you sure do like selling stuff. You sold the scooter. When I left that hospital, I made sure it was clear. Does he have enough money? Because I'm going to be 2 days there. I got to fly over. That's almost 2 days, 26 or no, I had like a 20. No, I had a long layover. It took me like 36 hours to get home. And come home in the morning, take a nap, get up and start doing what I need to do. And then it's always lies. What's going on? Oh, he's okay, recovered from surgery. And then, oh, we owe this person this money. And we're going to go get money. Don't worry about it. And I'm sending money, lots of money, and paid it off. But then there's these hidden fees coming. Oh, well, we owed the teacher 60,000 peso. Where did this come from? I think that's a bunch of lies. Well, that's not half of it. Today, she's talking about, well, I left him, right? I didn't leave him. I had to go back. I was already going back before the incident. So anyways, she's talking about how I hide my phone. I leave my phone out. My phone, when I go over to the Philippines, I don't even get a SIMS card. I log into her hotspot, and then I can do my banking, and then I might check Facebook real quick, my buddy Messenger, my ex-business partner or whatever, that's it. She always knew the code. So Dexel, you can fill your cup up with a bunch of shit, you're lying. You already know it. It's 7337. You know it. And the bank card, I set it up the same way, 7337. In case something happened to me, she could have access to money in the phone. And it was always sitting there. I'm never on my phone. When I heard that, I go, enough's enough, So I just wanted to set the record straight. Like I said, I'm already over in the other country. Cool country. You guys are going to love it. It kind of resembles the Philippines a little bit, but I'm not going to give it away. Like I say, I'm going to do blogging. I'll post a video every day, hotels, cost of living, all the different areas, wherever I go. But yeah, that was just enough. I had enough. We haven't been speaking. Done. I've had it. I really had it. It'll never stop, because the thing is a good friend of mine and even family said, can you imagine putting up with this in another year? And I'm like, no. What about 5 years? It's not going to get better. We've already had these issues, the jealousy. I wonder why I drank. When I went over there, I was in great shape. And 15 months later, I was 55 pounds heavier. I just lost 55 pounds in 1 year. I took it easy. But I got the initial 30, 35 pounds off quick. 55 pounds, cortisol levels shooting. Somebody's going to tell you, me and the wife at the time, we go work out in the morning, you come back, first, I make the kids breakfast, then we go to the gym, then come back, lunch. I loved cooking. And then I remember tons of times, I'm sitting there bored. There's nothing to do. And a lot of you guys can relate to this, the ones I'm in contact with. Hey, I'm going to take Paul to the gym. Her own son. She's like, you got somebody else. You got somebody else. You got somebody else. I'm like, and then Paul, come on, Mom. And it's just never ending. So then it's like, she goes in the shower and I run, I got to run out the house and go down to the corner sari-sari store, and grab some beer and then hide it like a little kid, Power's probably out, running a fan. That's if we got gasoline for the generator. That's if you can even get it started. But, that's how it was. That's how it was. So, anyways, you guys got to stay tuned. I finally can go do what I want to do. I've been doing nothing but taking care of them for the last 6 years, working my ass off. And for what? Just to get accused of cheating. Get accused of cheating. Look at that, Dexel. Look at that. The kids, look at that. Well, now, the country I'm in now, it's going to be all nice and covered. So you guys stay tuned, man. And thanks for all the subscribers. And like I said, these new videos I got coming out, subscribe, like. I'm going to put a lot of work into them. I'm going to be doing a lot of walking. So I prepared for this. So, I can walk you know, 15, 20 miles a day, whatever I got to do through the heat. So thank you.